Welcome back to Growth Over Easy. I want to share with you something that happened to me last week and some wisdom that someone dropped into my world that really reminded me the importance of treating the cause, not the symptoms. So I've been dealing with some nerve pain and I've tried many different avenues to combat this. And if you've ever dealt with nerve pain, I am so sorry because it's intense. And it's very difficult to get it to go away. At least in my experience, it has been very difficult. And I decided to try craniosacral therapy, which has been a lifesaver for me. It is really, as of today, I am pain-free in regards to the nerve pain. At my last session last week, though, I was telling the therapist how I was feeling this pinch and just uncomfortable tightness in my low back. And after the session, she told me that, structurally, I think it's coming from your hip flexor, not from your low back. And then she made the comment, sometimes where you feel the pain is not where the pain originated. And that hit me because it applies to so many areas of life. I think about when we see someone do something and we immediately judge their behavior. What is this behavior? Why are they acting this way? And if we took a second to slow down and say, I wonder what happened to them. I wonder what caused this behavior to be present in the first place. And in the work I do with clients, this concept is very important because I believe in treating the cause, the root cause, not just the symptoms. Because I'll have people come to me because they're ruminating a lot or they're experiencing a lot of anxiety. They're constantly fighting in their relationship. Their anger is explosive and out of control, or they just are hypervigilant. They're completely overwhelmed, doing lots of things to try to numb out at the end of the day just to get through the work week. And if I was just to treat the symptoms, I would give them mindset hacks. I would give them quick tools to reduce anxiety. I might even give them some communication tips, like use I statements instead of you, use the feedback wheel. And all of those things are great. And I do give my clients tools because I love adding tools to your tool belt. But the important thing to do is to treat the cause, not just the symptoms. And what I have seen in the work that I do is, when someone comes to me and they are explosive or in a high conflict relationship, it's normally not the other person in the relationship and that connection that's the issue. Normally, or typically I should say, the issue started a long time ago in how they were raised, early childhood experiences, trauma, old wounds, broken hearts from the past. And it's all these things that happen to us that we then carry into the next relationship or into the next job or into the next phase of life. I think of it as if you were going hiking. I love to go hiking. And say you wanted to summit a mountain. And that was your life, right? Your life is summiting this huge mountain. As you experience things that are adverse, that are difficult, instead of being with the thing, it would be like picking up a rock every time you experience something and throwing it in your backpack, right? If you were not open to experiencing your feelings, if you didn't have tools or support to get through hard things in life, it would just be like every few feet you stop, you pick up a good sized rock and you throw it in your backpack. Over time, your backpack would get way too heavy and it would make the hike up the hill really, really difficult. And so if I was treating the symptoms, maybe I come along and I say, hey, here are some walking sticks. And these walking sticks will help you get to the top because your backpack's really heavy. So let's use the walking sticks to support you. Or, hey, here's a better pair of hiking boots. These have better traction. And I know your backpack's really heavy, but these hiking shoes will give you better traction while you're carrying your heavy backpack up the hill. But if I want to treat the root cause, and this is what I do in my own practice and my own work, is we stop. We stop hiking for a second. We sit down and we open up that backpack and we just take out one rock and we look at it and we deal with it. And when you're ready, you get to set it down and keep moving forward. And that is the difference between treating a symptom and treating the root cause. I want to get the rocks out of the backpack. So if you come to me and you're like, I'm fighting with my wife all the time. We're having the same circular argument over and over and over again. I am less concerned about the content of the argument between you and your wife, and I am more interested in finding out, why did you learn to fight this way? Why did you learn that this is what conflict was? What is that underlying need, that underlying wound underneath everything that's going on between you and your wife that started early on? How do you fight? Are you fighting to be right? Are you retaliatory? Do you withdraw during a fight? I want to figure out like what is that losing strategy that is keeping you from healing the conflict, and where did you learn it? What conditions were present when you were younger that you developed this? And then we work with that thing, right? We work with the thing that's the rock in the backpack, because, new hiking shoes and hiking poles can be helpful. And sometimes you're in a situation where you're like, that's all I can do is grab a tool and I've got to keep moving with just my tools for a second. But when you're able to slow down and you take the time to work with someone, whether it's me or someone else who's truly interested in helping you treat where the pain originated. Because just like my therapist told me, a lot of times where you feel the pain in your relationship, where you feel the pain in your life is not where the pain originated. And I bring this up because I have seen people on the verge of, and going through with it, but currently on the verge of throwing away a relationship because it seems like there's so much turmoil and stress. But in reality, it's not the relationship. Because if they throw that away, they will likely go on to a next relationship and create the same situation, because that's not where the pain originated. The pain originated with the attunement they never got from their mother. The pain originated with the abuse maybe they experienced from their father. Whatever the situation is, it's not where the pain originated. So we've got to go back and we've got to get to that root cause and deal with it and give yourself that compassion. Give yourself that attunement. Spend time with that activation. Allow yourself to experience those emotions and move through them so that we can treat the old wounds. So that way, when you do get into an argument with your wife, with your spouse, because you will, we are humans, we will argue, it happens. You're dealing with what's actually happening between you. Not something that happened to you a long time ago, not something that happened to her a long time ago. You're dealing with what happened between the two of you. You're disagreeing with your spouse, not your ex-wife, not her ex-boyfriend, right? You're disagreeing and you're dealing with what's in front of you. And that kind of conflict, because again, it will come up in relationships, that is so much easier to move through when it's not being informed by all the wounds of the past. But in order to get there, we've got to treat where the pain originates, not just where you feel it. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, that kind of sounds like me, then click the link in the show notes to book a call with me. Let's chat about it. Let's see if I can be helpful in your journey to unload these rocks from your backpack. And if you like to read more than you like to listen, I send out a weekly email called 3T. It is a truth, a thought, and a tactic. And this week's email, I talked about this exact thing that I experienced that I'm telling you about now. So if you'd like to get that in your inbox, go ahead and click the link in the show notes to sign up for 3T. I hope you choose growth, and I hope this helps.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're a fan of the show, please subscribe and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect, you can join me over on Substack or follow me on Instagram @LillyRachels. Let's build love that grows.